I just want to give you an update of what's happening here in Cebu City now that we have an easier quarantine qualification. The whole island is now MGCQ. So I decided that I'll just be giving you not a daily update, just giving you like a week's update. So you can see here all the overhang is already done. That will be installed there, and then we're gonna be putting the sheets. Today is November 3, 2020 here in Cebu City, Philippines. Today also is the start that you will be seeing jeepneys plying the streets of Cebu City, because last week the mayor of Cebu City has approved that an executive order allowing jeepneys to go back picking up passengers on the streets in Cebu on certain routes. So there will be 1,355 jeepneys listed that now can pick up passengers in Cebu City. I mean, go back to the roots of doing passenger pick and drop. So for November 1 and 30, the quarantine status of the whole island of Cebu is now MGCQ. So it's a more relaxed quarantine status, and so all the hotels are now fully operational also, but you still have to follow the quarantine, mask wearing or shield wearing, and then social distancing and the frequent washings of hands. So at least it's contrary to what we hear from the West, that they are now in full lockdown. Here everything is easing up, and the cases that we have here for this COVID is now less and less every day. So a lot of recoveries and less new cases, which is better to hear than being locked down for another holiday season of Christmas. You know that it's coming. We just have our holiday season November 1 and 2, where the cemetery, because that's the tradition for the Filipinos to visit their dead loved ones on November 1 and 2, and then to avoid all the groupings of people without observing the social distancing, they decided to close all the cemeteries starting October 30 until November 4. So these are the sheets that is ready to install. It's gauge 22 by 10 foot length. So that's 10 foot length corrugated sheets, 21 pieces at 350 pesos each. So 350 pesos each, this one, and that will be the one. That's the one that's ordered by the welding man, Danny. November 2 today, but the lads have decided to work because you still can't go to the cemetery, it's all closed in. So they are making the beams here and continuing on the rendering. So this is now ready for flooring. They will just make sure that there's enough bolts in the middle of that one, and this one will be on the same level. Then they floor it all as once. So the beam will be there, and then just put the roof on top of the beam. Then it's all ready. So Julito's continuing on the rendering. Abi na ko human ng bagyo. It's now raining again. I'm going up my hill because Farmer Willie's wife's inviting me over for her birthday party. So look at the steepness of this. So this is what Farmer Willie's place here on top of my hill. Now you can see why I have to build them a little house better than this when this is all flattened out. So they have cleared some of the land, but it's just very steep coming up here. But when this is all flattened out, I will build them a proper concrete house that they can decently live here. So this is what their birthday celebration here. We are now working here on the bar, so we have to tarp this so the dust won't come here on the kitchen. Double na lang siya dong. Ala, ibotch. So I covered it all up now, ready for his bar to be worked on. So I hope that they will not be closing the malls or for the Christmas season. It will soon start to ease up. You know what I mean? Now they're even telling the hotels that they can go 100% operational, but as you can know that tourism, international tourists is still not allowed to come in here. So, but and more restaurants, resorts are open, and it's aiming for local tourists as of the moment, you know, island to island with the same quarantine status, but we still have to follow all the quarantine requirements, that you have to have a quarantine certificate from your respective barangay, and that you have followed, because every island got different quarantine status as for what local government there have required for. Like if you want to go to Boracay, you can, but you still have to follow what the Boracay quarantine requirements is. And so here they do want you to have the certificate that you have done the tests, or you have done the 14-day quarantine period. You have passed that before you are allowed to go out. So hopefully this will improve to normal opening. No more of those MGCQ GCQ thing, because this is getting ridiculous. So all now can go back to work more and more establishments are told to open, not just skeletal. Like the hotels can now go back to, because of the easing up of the tourist requirements for domestic tourists. And hopefully we will be back to normal now. So this is the update on my roofing trusses on my storeroom building. So you can see they're just doing the horizontals now, which is the C-purlins, and also the overhang. So that's the one. They're just installing the overhang. It's already done. They're just putting it there. And then we red-led them all. So you see there's the awning on that one. It can keep the dogs warm on the side, so it's not so wet on the side of the roof. Then I could put some of the like concrete seats for the dog furniture that I see featured in my video once, or whatever I can think of. But as long as the awning is a bit bigger, so they can have a little shade there, or for the rain and sun. Because right now you see I'm passing through here, so I could get in Mandaue City because it's more strict here there with the coding of the vehicles. If you pass by the AS Fortuna one, unless you are you can chance on them that they are not there. But when I pass by, their full personnel was just there on the barrier thing, so they're quite strict in that area. But in here you can still enter Mandaue using the non-code vehicle for the day, which is supposed to be even, and my vehicle here had the N number of an odd, so if I go that way I won't be allowed in. Oh, thanks. The mini roadster, very accommodating, allow me to go through. So I just gonna pass this way to see if I could go through, because I'm going to Oak Ridge, although it's getting farther. But what's the point if you're not allowed to enter? So I'm just chancing it here, see if we go there. So this is the Mabolo Panagdait Road of Cebu City. So far I haven't seen the jeepneys, but I know November 3, 2020 is the start of the flight of the 1,355 jeepneys that are allowed to fly to do their routes now here in Cebu City. There's not a lot in here in Mabolo anyway, because they're mostly private vehicles and taxis that passes through here, and the bus. Even before the pandemic, you overtake just to turn and hinder everything. So over here, I'll just pass this way because they lock up the one on the back. So this is already rendered by Julito. You can see that he's already rendered 4 panels. Yesterday he didn't finish the day because it was raining. He had stomach ache because been drinking all day yesterday because of the All Souls Day holidays. So I'm gonna have a look in here. we're gonna be fixing this passageway so it's easier to walk. So that will be the toilet. There will be a passageway here, fixed properly. So have they made this one as well as a step. So look at the septic tank and the in between gap, it's already done. So that will be their shower area. They will put the barrel here on the side. So that will be their shower area. So they won't be showering on the back. They've cut that long pipe there. So if ever it fills up, the water will just flow out, but that will be still be put a little bit of PVC pipe. Now that's how the toilet looks like. It's very dark because it's under the mango tree. All rendered out outside and start to render inside as well. So what's happening with the windows, but they can fix it up. So overall, this is it. Ana na lang dong ay dong. I'm trying to tell the lay what to do.